Why are you up?
Because I got some important shit going on here. What do you think?
Boom, the well pass.
That space where I don't have to worry about anything. And I've been in that space with other women who don't have to worry about anything. And we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun together.
All right, we have for the first time in a long time, we have the lovely Jay Ali. How are you?
Yay, Jay. Wow, Jay. You looking gorgeous, girl.
Damn. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Perfectly, loud and clear.
I love your face. You have the most symmetrical face ever.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For sure. How are you?
I'm okay. I had to take care of some mommy duty, so I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Oh yeah, you had some things to do for the weekend. Does he have an activity this weekend?
No, I just I had to get him some dinner, and then I promised and I was gonna make him some little Halloween cookies that I bought him. So now he's watching a movie. So hopefully you're not gonna see the door open with him asking me for anything, because him and his are all set.
Hey,
you and Noble have the babies in the room, so that's energy right there. That's beautiful. Energy.
See, he can't be in here. You know, when I'm in here doing something, you got to stay in the living room.
He don't. My son don't want to go nowhere else.
So. Oh dang!
But welcome, Jay Ali. You look so chic. I love it.
Thanks.
Yes. So, do you have any questions or anything you want to? Have you ever experienced something like this, like without maybe knowing that there were terms for it? Have you ever been in like a relationship with a guy who just really had that energy of that you didn't have to worry about anything, and maybe because we're from this modern world, you were kind of thrown off by it, or you actually enjoyed it?
Not really. I mean, I had told Miguel that I did get invited to be in like a poly relationship, but it was toxic. So I felt as though they shouldn't have been trying to bring anybody into that toxic environment. They needed to get, some things together before they tried to add anybody to it. I don't do the arguing, so I don't want to hear that. I don't like noise at all, which is one of the reasons why I only have one kid. And I kind of felt like it was going to be me breaking up a lot of fights and me, being a moderator for a lot of it. So I haven't done any like the Dom situations. I feel like the dude that had invited me into it, he could have been that, but the thing is, he kind of has went about things the wrong way. He made a lot of decisions that probably weren't smart for him for the future. So if he had a little bit of discipline and been more honest, he probably could have had like a situation like you guys are talking about, but he just let things get out of control. So it's over with now. He can't do it now.
Right. But so when they were kind of what's called courting, when they were kind of courting you, did he break it down? Like, was he like a detail oriented kind of? I don't know if you've ever seen the documentary. No, he wasn't. Yeah.
Hell no. It was more like, so I had known him for a while,
right?
And he had kids with this girl. So I've known him longer than she's known him. And he wanted to still be around his kids. So it was kind of going to be more of I really like you as well. And so I want you to be a part of the home. I want you to be part of what's going on over here. But no, he was not structured at all. And like I said, it was really toxic. So to me, it was going to be issues for me because, like I said, I don't like noise. I don't want to hear any arguing. I don't want to have to break up any fights. And then why I say it was almost like a Dom situation was because the way he presented to me was he wanted me to kind of like, it sounded to me like raise her. Like she had a lot of bad habits, and he wanted me to come in and kind of like, they saw it was like, oh no. No. That was pretty much her parents.
Save a hoe. He wanted you to go in there like Captain Save a Hoe.
Exactly, because she was doing a lot of stuff that I definitely wasn't into. Like if he would make her mad, she would go and, sleep with somebody else. See, I don't do that kind of stuff because I know that when you want revenge, you don't use your body. That's the last thing you want to use. So she had that kind of mindset.
So he was.
I know that now that I'm thinking about it, and like when I've explained it to people, I'm like, yeah, that's.
But you know what? This is very special what you're sharing with us, Jay, because you know what it really illustrates for me listening to you. It's like I think people enter like they start the relationship off monogamous, and then they try to make the relationship. They think they have a level or the emotional thing to be able to include people in it. And they already like what you identify is so true. They already started off with bad communication, but they live in the fantasy of having that third person there. They don't really deal in the reality and the actuality. Because if you deal in the reality and actuality, then you have to go into yourself. You have to really get into your self mastery. You know what I mean? Like honest, you do because there's gonna be when people are like, oh, but then there's always gonna be jealousy. Listen, that's because maybe the relationship started off monogamous and then they try to turn it into something. That's exactly what it was. And that's a hard journey because you could have it in your spirit that that's what your goal is, but you have to do a lot of work to get to that.
Right. That's no different from.
She wasn't too fond of me because he presented the idea. I know a lot of times what people will do is they'll let the woman choose. And I think because he chose, she was kind of she wasn't feeling it because they have done it before with somebody, and I was kind of like the other person. Like I guess the other girl had decided she didn't want to do it anymore. She's like, "Oh yeah, can we do?" And I'm just like, And then with me, first of all, I don't want to live with anybody, and so that he wanted us all to live together. I just thought my son being in the same house with y'all. No.
Don't bring your son into that. That's not your children. Children do not need. If your child did not grow up in that, you don't need to bring him into that until very late in the game. That's the last. You're not gonna disrupt the beautiful world that you've created for your son,
right?
Because that's something that's very delicate. I'm happy you said because there's a lot of women out here that because they don't do what you did, use discernment. They put themselves in these situations and don't let that situation declare itself for a little while. And then they start introducing new little energies of kids. And now, I mean, like what you're ruining your child if you don't really take the time. Because I would rather, if I was a single mom, a single parent or something like that, I don't think I would ever really be able to introduce my child to another person. Because I'm just not into introducing little kids to people who are not like my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, and my grandparent. Like
or their other parent,
I'm not. I don't know that. Nothing to do with you and I being together. We're not gonna go to Legoland. My kid does that with their dad or with my family. I just really don't like it when women. You could exercise your womanhood, but you don't have to try to redo the mistake that you possibly did by not getting married. Or you can still live a life. But you don't have to include the children in it. You already made a determination to be a mom in a situation. So do the best that you can to protect your child for as long as you can. Because a lot of times when you're in those situations, your child is exposed to things out of your control because you're raising a person by yourself. And so then to introduce a lover or a situation that you identified as toxic, and some women don't think like you. They just they want that fantasy so bad. And they introduce the little kids to it. And I'm like, dude, like for real? Like you couldn't give that thing a little bit of time to show up and see what it really was before.
Listen, y'all lady, y'all women, so y'all don't know how fast these chicks will put you around that child by yourself. I'm about to run to the store real fast.
Yes, and that's how a lot of kids end up being deleted because they working and they're like, oh, can you watch my child? They'll get somebody that just got out of prison and they'll let them around their child because they want a man. And he crazy as a Bessie-bug. And so then he watching your kid, he can't handle the crying or whatever. Now you coming home and your kid is deleted. And now y'all trying to hide the baby's body. Then you're talking about
Right.
somebody that kidnapped your kid and the whole time y'all was in on it. So I don't really introduce people to my son. My son, he's, like I said, I prioritize his relationship with his dad, and so I don't prioritize dating at this time because I'm trying to make sure he's good. And, some people don't want to come into like this type of situation because they think I'm still messing with the dad or whatever. But yeah, I don't plan on moving nobody in. I don't plan on really going full fledged into it until he's way older. And I'm okay with that because like like I've already said, I want to get married. So for me, I don't think you should get married unless you want to have a family. If that's not what your goal is, and you're just trying to get married for companionship and all that stuff, you don't need a marriage to do that. But yeah, I'm just chilling basically. I don't date. I've let a lot of people go because I don't have the time. I don't have time for all of that. Hard.
To one of them, I don't know how this guy does it somebody just block.
No, I'm not looking. It's not stepdaddy season in this house. I'm sorry, Zone.
Block Zone for like forever. So no.
It's not stepdaddy
Yeah,
season.
like what you're saying, Jelly, like that kind of guy you described, a lot of times they put that pressure on the woman to introduce the child so he can manipulate. Because, once the child has been introduced to the person, that it's hard, you don't want to be like introducing your child to every person. And some men will use fuckery and trickery and wizardry, you know what I mean, to put a spell on these women and ruin. It is. It's to me, it's like it's not good energy. It's demonic, man. Like,
amen.
Especially when you have girls. So I have a boy, but I still practice discernment because boys get abused as well. It's not just girls. So the other day, my mom came in and she's like, "Oh yeah, this lady from the school, Peyton has a new friend, and she wants to do a play date." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, they can go out. He ain't going to nobody's house. No. You want to go out, not Chuck E. Cheese, but if you want to go out someplace, we can go out somewhere. But in terms of like them saying, oh, he can come over here, no, because I don't know who's over there. I don't know what type of men or family members they have. And a lot of people won't tell you.
Habits. You don't know people's habits. You don't know people's habits.
Because I would hate to have to with somebody else. So it's for me, I'm kind of protective of my son. Just because I just can't imagine, you know what I mean? They had to put me under the jail. So it's, I'm a little protective over him. And he doesn't understand it. Because when I sit him and notice certain things, obviously he gets upset. And he doesn't understand why I'm saying, well, you can't go over there. He just want to go play with somebody because he's the only kid. So it's different for him because he doesn't have anybody at home that he can go and play with, except the dog. We're about to get another dog too. But, he wants to have his friends, and I don't shy away from that, even though sometimes, even with the kids, like, I put my son to bed a decent time. On the weekends, he can go to bed a little later. But during the school week, oh, yeah, you have a certain bedtime. So he was on FaceTime with one of his friends. He's like, oh, I can go to bed whenever I want. And I'm just like, ugh. And I don't want to sever the relationship because I know that was my son's best friend. And so I have to explain to him that in their house, they may have their own set of rules, but over here, you have your own set of rules as well. You're not going to bed whenever you want to go to bed. It's not no zoo up here. The dog, everybody go to bed at 9 o'clock. Kids, dog, everybody.
Not the dog.
Yeah, the dog got to go to bed too. She knows what's happening.
Speaking of dogs, what do you think about the collaring ceremony?
Well, I didn't hear the beginning part of it. What is, you got to explain it to me. What's the collaring ceremony?
So when you enter into a BDSM contractual agreement, there's the first part of it is courting. Like a master will court you. That's when you get to know each other. And when you decide that you're going to take it to another level, you start working on your contract. And then when the contract is signed, you write vows and you have a collaring ceremony where your master is going to put your collar on and display full ownership of you. And usually that's kind of like it's almost like a wedding. If I was going to describe it, it's you have vows. You are, my submissive type is what's called a little. So it's like a little girl or a bratty little girl. And it's like a celebration. And I get to kind of be at ease where I can just hang out and be with everybody. I still have to ask for permission to do things. But it's our party and our celebration of acknowledging ownership from a dominant and submissive and through the fundamentals of BDSM. And you have a collar, and you through your relationship, you end up collecting more collars because you want your collars to match your outfits. Or even if you go out to dinner and you have like a blue dress, you'll get like a piece of jewelry that is a collar. But people don't understand that you're wearing it because of BDSM. It's just like, it looks like a nice accessory, but your master knows why you're wearing that blue one when you're out to dinner around vanilla people. So most of the times when I see a girl or a woman wearing a collar or a choker, I get like an inclination like she might be a total sub. Yeah, because it's just a very big sign of like somebody owns you. So that's what a collaring ceremony is about. So how do you wear collars as a piece of jewelry? Are you into that?
No, but I remember the chokers was in for a good year or so. A lot of the stores were selling the chokers. So I'm trying to see if maybe your mind was going crazy during that time because everybody.
When I see that, I'm like, oh my God. Even like sometimes I'll see like gothic girls, you know, wearing that kind of stuff. And you know, and I know gothic kids kind of dabble into this stuff. They just are more masochistic. They're a little bit more into the pain because that's what they draw from. So when I do see that, and I see them kind of super pierced and stuff like that, because there are people in this lifestyle that do display themselves like that. I'm like, damn, those little young kids, they got already masochistic tendencies because they have piercings, they have the choker, they're like really gothic. So yeah, when I saw that, I was like, damn, these little kids are out here like this. Like, I'm a little discreet.
It was pretty recent. I think it was a couple years ago. I want to have people feel about me and my piercing because I've gotten some funny looks. But I know for me, this is like the last piercing that I'm gonna get. I should have just stuck with the regular. You know how they have the fake ones?
Yeah.
It was like a spur of the moment. It was my sister's birthday. We were like, let's go get our septum pierced. And then when I start reading about it, basically, after you have it for so long, the hole never closes. And I was like, I should have just kept the fake one because I don't want to have a hole in my nose forever. But the collar thing sounds interesting. Chokers was not really my thing per se. So I don't know how I will be able to deal with a collar. I don't wear a whole lot of jewelry. I've been trying to wear my granddad's. I have like his ashes in like an urn necklace. But I don't know about this.
I'll tell you this also. In this BDSM, there's also piercings and branding are also a part of demonstrating ownership of someone. Yeah, some people get branded, and yes, some people get that septum like pierced by their master. Yep, and it's a demonstration. That's why when I do see people with piercings, I am like, I wonder if they are, because that is also used as a display during a ceremony is piercings, you know. Yep, for sure. So yeah, I would look at you, and I do look at you, and I'm like, she would be sick walking into a space, all leather, just like, you know what I mean? Because it looks gorgeous. Like when certain women just have a certain body type and they feel my fantasy of a woman in leather, I'm like, oh my God, I want permission to play with her.
I need to find my church fan right now. Oh no.
Well, you know what? Catwoman is actually my favorite.
Yes. Oh, girl, that was.
I know. I saw.
I was with my toy. Like I was like, Catwoman.
Yeah, Catwoman is my favorite.
That was a hot one. All the even Michelle Pfeiffer was hot. Halle Berry was hot.
The Halle Berry
was my favorite one. Well, you guys saw on my IG. I have the Halle Berry Catwoman mask. I'm trying to do another one, but I want to do like a full cat suit. That one was kind of like a spur of the moment shoot, so I only had like the jacket and my Thriller jacket. But yeah, you're making me want to add some stuff to my project now. Shoot,
yeah,
like a whole leather a leather get up. I have some ideas. I have a lot of ideas. I can't do too many because I'm only gonna have the studio for like 8 hours, and I'm trying to get it down to like 5 concepts.
Got it.
Look,
But
you
I think I
can
want to.
look. You know what looks dope and is very inexpensive. You might already like you get like a full body pantyhose, lace pantyhose. Some of them have sleeves. You know what I'm talking about? They sell them a pack of 3, and they're a full body, and then you add a corset. You add like a leather thing on the outside. You know what I mean? And you have like a full body pantyhose, so you're not exposing too much. And then you add those pieces of leather to cover up. You know what I mean? And that looks amazing. Versus like just corset and all your skin exposed. You add a different dimension. You add that different dimension of that pantyhose, like a silhouette. You're creating a silhouette. So you can go to that website that I pull, that Dolls Kill, and even
I love that stuff.
You got it?
on Amazon, they have those pack up, and those pantyhose are cheapy, girl. Like they disintegrate in the sun. They're like one-time wear. But for me, when I go to parties, I don't mind showing a lot of skin, but sometimes it looks too much. So I do the whole body catsuit, pantyhose thing, or even a tank top, and I just put a corset and some leather underwear on top. Not thong, but like a little bit of booty cheeks, Brazilian cut, with my boots and my hair and my boots and my accessories, and it's just like, damn, you know what I mean? It looks, and it was like under $100.
Yeah, you know what the thing with Dolls Kill though, because I love Dolls Kill. I didn't even know that was a site that you were using because I've always looked on there. Is that they'll put some good stuff on there. And you got to hurry up and grab it because a lot of times they don't bring that stuff back. So I've been like peeking on there a little bit because I was trying to do that look a long time ago, but I also didn't go a lot of places because I'm a homebody. So I was like, dang, should I buy all this stuff and then won't be doing it in the house? But modeling kind of lets me still buy that stuff and get that look without having to go out. So
do it and take pictures. Is for you. It's a whole exercise, a whole exercise in your womanhood. You know how many women dream to be like in lingerie and they won't do it? They're wearing sweats right now. They don't take that time. Like I'm like Coco, Ice-T's wife. I'm walking around the house in heels with feathers on them. Whatever he wants to see, whatever he likes to see, whatever he likes to see, I'm gonna walk around like that. So
if you got Ice-T money, I'll walk around with some feather stilettos too.
Right? Like, babe, whatever you want. I'm your fantasy girl. I'm gonna bring it. I'm not gonna sit around. I'll sit around with sweats and t-shirt when I'm by myself. But when he's around, I'm looking like the whole vibe. Like his whole shit is like, this woman messes me up. So I love that you're into it. And you know, when you go to Dolls Kill and you see like little things, even if you don't have the idea yet, just purchase it and create a costume trunk for yourself. When you go out and you see little pieces of jewelry, like, oh, I don't know what I'll use that for, but I know I like that. And just create your little, like, a trunk full of your little costumes. I mean, you've seen my costumes. I have all kinds of fun stuff, and I like to wear it, and it brings out something in me, and that's what girls get to do. We get to dress up. We get to do things like that.
That's why Halloween is my favorite holiday. Also, pull up to my Halloween lab, y'all. I will be wearing a costume, and I will be live.
Oh, you're gonna have a live on Halloween?
I am. I already ordered my costume and a little bit of decor. I'm gonna let my son help me put up the background stuff because he likes it.
Is it scheduled?
Is your costume a surprise? Sorry, Noble.
Yeah, it's a surprise. This is a surprise. It's honestly, it's not like super out there. I didn't want to do too much, but it's still gonna be cute.
I love it.
Is your live schedule yet?
It is. So it's scheduled for the 31st at 8 o'clock. I don't know who else is going live that day, but I know most time people don't go live right at 8. They'll do it like you did in daytime or like right at 9. So I have like a little hour to myself, hopefully, just to have a little fun. We'll probably do it like a little game. It's gonna be like really chill and fun. I really don't want it to get into these topics that they be talking about relationships and stuff. It's gonna kill the vibe.
Amen.
So, just fun. And you can pull up with a mask, you pull up with a costume. I don't care. But I just don't want it to get people arguing and stuff. Unless I'm drunk.
I think you're gonna have a good time. I think a lot of people support you and adore you, and I think it could be something like you're saying, like a whole different funny vibe. Because I think a lot of the people that interact with you have a great personality, and I think it would be really funny if people really like take the time, and it could be a really fun, silly show. Yeah. So
yeah, y'all got enough time to order a costume or a mask. You can wear. I don't know if I want y'all to do like the Halloween mask, but you will have to take the mask off before you come up, because I don't want no trolls.
Thanos has plans for you, JLE. Thanos has plans for you. He said
all-purpose velvet cat suit with a hood.
That's hot, girl.
All-purpose velvet cat suit with a hood. I've never seen that before.
But that would be hot with like, and only your beautiful face showing. Woo! That's fire right there.
We'll see, guys. My project is gonna be in January, so it's gonna be debuted in January.
Shout out to Wiley. What's up, bro? Thanos, you got to stop. You got to stop.
You got to hold Halloween accountable. You talking about the movie? See, I don't like slasher films, so I'm not watching.
He's not talking about that. You got to stop. You out of control.
You gotta hold Halloween accountable.
He's being so.
Are you being petty, Thanos?
You got to stop. Listen, I'm about as petty as it get out. You can't slide Patty past me. What I'm saying. Shout out to West Side. So listen.
Yeah.
I think I like the idea of collars. So I had asked somebody this earlier this week. What about wearing a collar and a leash in public?
I have been led into a restaurant with a leash and a collar on.
Mm-hmm.
And initially I felt a little bit of that humiliation rise up, but I liked it. I liked it because then I realized that I have the balls to do that, and that's what my master was trying to teach me. Fuck everybody else, live your life. I had a hard time with that kind of barrier. I would always be like I was like a really apologetic person. Especially when it came to BDSM. Oh my God, I didn't want nobody to know. And that that was coming from a really bad place that I don't need to live that way. I'm a beautiful, capable woman, and I don't need to be ashamed of anything. So that really was a lesson for me to feel that humiliation and just get over it and realize that I'm not going to die. I'm going to be okay. I'm not alone. I'm not alone. He's there with me. He's also, everybody's seeing what he's doing. So it's not like I'm, like everybody's looking at him a certain way too. So I did go through that moment of humiliation, and then I understood the lesson. And then when I understood the lesson, I was just like, I wanted to wear it all the time. I wanted to wear it everywhere, to the supermarket. I wanted to be on my leash all the time. And he was like, wow, look how different that is, huh? Now you want the leash. Huh? Now you, and I would be like, I want it. I want people to see it, So yeah, I have been led by the leash on the collar as an exercise of getting over some things. If I do it now, it would be different. It would be fun. I would do it, but I wouldn't have anything attached to it. So it would be a lot more fun for me because I worked that out of my system. So if I'm courted by a master right now and he says to me, would you be okay wearing a leash and a collar in public? And I would be like, yeah, I've been trained for that. He would be like, you have been, and like, yeah. He's like, okay.
Unicorn, right?
Huh?
Unicorn, right?
Yeah. It's a unicorn. Yeah, you would be like, you are a unicorn. And I would be like, yes. And I would make it match my outfit. I would be like, it would be a part of my whole attire. And I would be like, I would be so proud for him to lead me into any room with that collar on. And the fact that he doesn't have to work it out with me, that somebody already did that for him, and that I know how to stand in it. Because if somebody doesn't ask me for it, I would never have to show him how obedient I am. But if it's something he likes, it's an opportunity for me to really demonstrate that I am worth my weight in gold.
Jay Ali?
Would you wear it?
In public? Probably not.
Would you wear it at a party? If it was a Halloween party and that was an opportunity for you? Yeah, you see?
I don't know. Halloween brings out another side of me. It brings out a whole nother side. So for Halloween, I'm down for pretty much anything.
It was just
But
it was just part of your that move that just I seen something in it. Yeah.
no, Halloween is really like my day to go all out. I haven't really celebrated in a while. It's just actually gonna be my first year celebrating it for a while because I just am just not in a good space. Like the last couple of years have been really rough. But I used to do a lot of makeup and stuff. So yeah, I like actually dressing up. I don't know, but it's different when you get into public. So I don't know if I would do it in public. I don't know if I would do the whole leash and collar thing in public. I'll probably be like, we may have to pass on this. But,
Well, but I could tell that I could tell that you have that little energy in you. So I know that there's conditions to it, which is fine. That's a hard limit. That's fine. But I know that there would be times, and when you would be like, "Yep, I could handle it here, but I don't want to do it over there." And then you might even say to me like, "Lexie, girl, take off that leash and collar. We're not going out like that." And I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes that it doesn't need to be worn.
I would do it.
Huh?
I would do it, not me doing it, having a neck, having a collar on. But I would only do it with women I love.
But you were having a collar and a leash like at the supermarket, just running errands. Like, would you like do it like that? That's hot. That's so freaking hot, man. That's balls.
When I was younger, I didn't think I would ever do it. But now I'm like, I understand because it's not about. It's like what you said. It's not about them. It's about us.
Yeah, fuck the world.
Especially if she wants that. And like if she or they want that, then it's like, yeah. Because like I always say.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just say this one thing. I tell my son, I tell any woman in my space, there's no such thing as no. It's just not yet. That's it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't believe in the word no. My favorite word is yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say like in this day and age, because people are so quick to take out their phone and take a picture. That's probably another thing.
Right back.
Okay. Yeah, that's the only thing I'm worried about because stuff stays on the internet forever. It doesn't go out. So I don't have an issue with it. It's just the fact that people will just be so quick to just, oh, look, and then put it on World Star. Next thing you know, you on World Star and the leash on.
Cheap
I don't
girl.
know. And I have kids, so I mean, keep one kid. So I do have to be a little bit of mindful. I know sometimes when people will feel like, like with my project, they're probably going to feel like, oh, you're a mom. Why are you doing this kind of stuff? You know what I mean? So I kind of keep that in the back of my head a little bit. If I didn't have my son, I'd probably be a little bit more wild, obviously. But I do try to keep that in the back of my mind because kids are mean and stuff stays on the internet.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want my son to be in a position where it's like a Kim Kardashian kind of thing.
Right.
Where kids are putting themselves like, is this your mom? So it's also going to be different because when you're a mom and you're good looking, kids are going to.
But let me tell you something that discretion is a big part in a lot of contracts. A lot of contracts, discretion is agreed upon because they do have children and they don't want to introduce the kids to the kink. They want the dynamic in the household where the child sees the dad be a patriarch and the mother runs the children and the household is run like a business. So yes, a lot of times it has happened to me with my ex. A lot of our friends would make us sign like paperwork so that we promise not to behave that way around their kids because they would want to bring us around their family. And they would be like, and they were like, we want to include, and then it's a special thing because you're like, oh my God, I've never met your kids. I've only heard about them. So what you're saying, JLE, absolutely, it's very much acknowledged and respected amongst, the people who would be in your circle that with the children, everyone has a certain code of ethic. Like we don't curse around children. We're not people who drink and party irresponsibly. So when kids are around, we're trying to bond with the child and teach them something. For me, I love to read with them when I go to people's houses who are in BDSM and they have kids. I love to read with the kids. I like to, interact with them and see how smart they are and how they express themselves, So yeah, it's a very beautiful and just as serious thing when children are involved from the aspect that the vanilla image needs to be upkept, and that you make that.
Right.
Damn, Jenny, would you wear lingerie in public? I don't know. I
Yeah.
can't.
Well, Jenny, to answer your question, I have in the past I have walked to the end of the street in my drawers to get the trash on Halloween. So that technically I have already, and but that's not lingerie. So, Jelly,
Really.
I did. Me and my two of my
You
friends.
you just
me
jump
and
right in
the
that.
other girl- Huh? I'm
You
sorry.
just jump
I
right in.
didn't
Oh
know
no,
you
no,
talking
no.
about things. I have some
You ain't.
stories. But yeah, so I used to work at a job, and then me and this other girl had the same name, and we had our he was I don't know if you say this word, GAY. We had our GAY best friends. So all of us were friends, and then we went to a Halloween party. And I did have like on a corset, and I had on like some boy shorts and the fishnet stockings and some heels. So I feel like that counts as lingerie. We were all matching or whatever. But I feel like with Halloween, sometimes people give you a pass for wearing that kind of stuff because they say like Halloween people start becoming like 304s for that one day. So I feel like people do get you a pass. But also living in the Midwest, if you do wear lingerie, you're obviously committed because normally it's really cold outside. So you're probably gonna get pneumonia in your JJ. But you were cute that night. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I've done it before, yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
I think that there's ways to be sexy and be modest at the same time. You know what I mean? Like even when I go to BDSM parties, I always think of how can I also just give them the lure. I'm not like someone who's gonna just be like all this flesh is out. It's too much. Because when you have a nice shape, it's a lot. Like like to see a woman who has shape in lingerie, it's a lot for me to look at. I'm like, damn, she is killing it.
Amen.
So for me, no matter what I put on, it's still gonna translate like, damn, she got body. So I don't have to show that much flesh. So I like to be creative. I like a lot of sheer fabrics, and I love wearing pantyhose. So I wear sheer things to imply it, and I'll have like a cool cover up, like something long and flowy. That if I'm having a conversation with people, I don't need my titties to be all the way out. I could just kind of just. But if I'm walking through the room, I let the whole energy out. So I think that it's beautiful when women wear lingerie. I think women should wear lingerie instead of underwear from Target. They should be wearing lingerie. When a woman puts on lingerie,
Target got some cute underwear.
Huh?
Target got some cute.
Okay, maybe I should say
they
Walmart.
coming up now. Because Savage Fenty kind of lit the fire under everyone's ass.
But even
so I do remember a couple of years ago, I did get like a nice, cute little bra and underwear set. And it wasn't like grandma-ish. It actually was really cute. And I actually wore it to, my old dude's house. Because around that time, like I had introduced him to more like, because I love dresses. Like dresses is my thing. So that's why I hate when it's cold because I can't really wear dresses as much. But every time I did go to see him, I would always wear a dress. And then sometimes I would, and I don't like undergarments. Technically, for me, I just don't like them. I kind of like taking them out of my wardrobe a little bit. So when I see a cute pair, I will buy it. But most of the time for me, I know that's a lot of information. I just don't like undergarments like that. But I'm also smaller. So for me, it's not like a whole lot of like movement when I'm, in motion. So I think I can kind of like get away with not having the stuff on underneath because ain't nothing really moving because I'm small. So, but yeah, it's uncomfortable for me now. Like I just don't. I can't, y'all.
But I'll take back to Target because you're right. Target does have some cutie things, but I think for women who do wear, I think women should keep it sexy. Like you like to wear dresses. That's how you feel more. That's how you feel your energy exude itself. You don't want to wear underwear if that's you, but it's still.
It'd be too hot. It'd be too hot for all of that stuff.
Right.
If I have on a dress, I ain't gonna lie. Most of the time, especially in the summertime.
You're free
My
balling.
family just gave me the same look. I'd be like, yeah, they be like, you got on the. It's hot out here.
You do have a
No.
tiny, so you could get away with
That's
it.
what I'm saying. So
Yeah, you can get away with
it's not a lot of like, but don't. It's not a lot of that. So I can kind of that's.
It's not a go ahead do it.
But do. I don't have. Listen, it's not a lot of that going on, so I don't.
Okay,
I can do the whole like free the nipple kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not a whole lot of like, so most of the time, I love the summertime just for that specific reason. Would it be hot?
That's awesome.
It's not, Now, some like in the wintertime, I try to do it more, but I'm also wearing thicker clothing. So sometimes even then, I'll be like, hell no. Probably only during that time of the month. So I don't know, it's just uncomfortable to me now. I'm even with pants, like pants have become uncomfortable for me. So that's why you
might be a nudist. You might be a nudist.
I don't want to go that far, but like pants, I hate pants. I hate jeans. I'm probably not gonna catch you in no jeans.
You be wearing lingerie on Halloween outside. You got the boy shorts.
Man.
Only on Halloween. The other time,
only on right.
But I think what Jenny Morena was saying, women have an alter ego, and you need to let her out. You need to let her live, like.
And then this is the Gemini, so it's two of them. It's two of them.
Yeah,
I done had like 36 personalities my whole life. Yeah, I done had like 36 names. Yeah.
Shit.
I done had an alter ego every year since I've been born. So every year, I'm not 36, but I'm just saying. Yeah, I like changing it up.
You see,
I feel like the normal people are a different person like every 5 to 10 years.
Uh-huh.
When it comes to Geminis, it's every 1 to 3 years.
Oh,
I can change
that.
So yeah,
observation. That makes a lot of sense when you say it like that.
Yeah, air signs always change something up. Especially Gemini. Geminis tend to be the ones that change the most because, and they also say Geminis are more likely to be bipolar as well, just because it's the two sides.
Kanye West.
Yeah, Kanye
West. That makes a lot of sense what you're saying about Geminis, because I have a girlfriend and she is an artist, and that woman could change her look and she could rock just about any look. I'm like, yo, you're like freaking perfect. A
chameleon, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not a chameleon in the manosphere term, but just a chameleon in terms of just being able to quickly go into another thing. But it's all artistic. So it's not just you doing it for the real. Most of the time it's going to be an artistic thing, which is something I really love about air signs is the art, the artistry. Right. So even though Kanye is a psychopath in some ways, he's a very good artist. Yeah, so I think a lot of times people give him a pass. But yeah, I love art. I love being able to express myself. If I'm not able to, I go into a depressed state because I like being able to create. So I'm trying to do that next year, trying to get more, expose more of my talents. I like to dance. Singing, not so much. My sister does more singing than I do. But yeah, I'm just trying to express myself more because it makes me happy. And I think my son's probably going to be the same way because he's an Aquarius. So he may end up being a rapper, y'all.
But like listening to you, the fact that you own this part of yourself, you can only be the most dynamic woman when you're like 70, 80 years old. You know what I mean? Sometimes I see women who are older and like you could just tell that she did things on her terms. She's still rocking her style, her earrings, her necklace. Like she just takes care of herself and she takes pride in how she presents herself. And like certain women are drawn to her because she just exudes that thing that she honors her alter ego. She honors like how the peeling back of the onions. of the the shedding of your skin, the transformation that does happen every 7 to 10 years. I think that some women don't honor that, and then they're bitter, and then they are like, kind of jealous, and they have uncertainty in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They live based on insecurity, because other women who live this way, the way that you do, Jay, and the way that I do, we don't apologize for ourselves. We're respectful, we're polite, we don't force ourselves on people. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have anything to prove. There's nothing to prove. We're just comfortable in our skin. And when I feel that feeling that I want to do something different with my hair or wear something different, there you go.
Cut it right off. Mm-hmm.
Wig.
Mm-hmm.
You said a wig?
No, I said cut it right off. Like, for me, I don't have an issue cutting my hair off. But then also it's because I also had a hair shape and the face card for it. So to me, it was just a little bit easier. KDH is J with an E, not an A. But when you were describing that reminded me of Cher, because I feel like Cher has that a little bit. She's not a Gemini. I just looked it up. She's actually a Taurus, but she's on the cusp. So I'll give her a little bit of Gemini qualities. But Cher's like almost 80, I think, and she's still like an icon to me. You know what I mean? She owns who she is.
Yep.
And when you say her name, you already know. Or Madonna too, but Madonna then went overboard with the BBL, so I'm gonna have to take some points away from Madonna. But yeah, it is certain artists now that I do feel like they've always owned who they are. I think Beyonce's probably gonna be the same way, even though she's more in the she doesn't share a whole lot. But I do think by the time she gets up there in age, she's still gonna be having that whole Sasha Fierce thing going on. But yeah, it's more fun on this side. I know some people try to make people feel bad about that because they're like, oh, you need a man, you need some, the companionship. You need to find somebody to be around you. First of all, I don't want nobody in my house. I'm like Oprah. I mean, what's her name? Whoopi Goldberg. I don't want nobody in my house. I want you to come over when I want you to come over, but I don't want you living with me. So.
But like, what I think is beautiful about someone like you, Jay, is that your alter ego gets to play, but it's not because you have permission from a man.
Mm-hmm.
Some women, they need to be in a relationship and they need to be with a guy who's like, babe, it's okay if you drink. Babe, it's okay if you wear a mini skirt, and he like sees that she needs the space to be that way, hopefully. And then he lets her be that way and he gives her permission. I think a lot of women are afraid to access that part of themselves.
I understand that.
And then to be able to ask for the sandbox to be that way. Some people are like, oh, when we go on vacation, that's when I let my hair loose. That's when I drink and I dress, and it's like, damn, but how about and then the rest of the year you're just suppressing that? Mm-hmm. You only you suppress that all year long until your vacation comes, and then you let it out. Then what happens? You go overboard, right? You drink too much. You don't have a balance. You don't know how to blend and morph who you are or who you might want to be in a moment in time. So I think that if a lot of women embrace the fact that can happen. And if you are able to bring that attention to your relationship and be honest with your man, like, I don't want to just be looked at as a mom all the time. I don't want to, I want to be sexy. I have this is, energy that I want to live out. I think women should really acknowledge that part of them so that then it's not overboard. She's not like, when I go on vacation with my girls, I drink like crazy and I dress like a slut. It's like, damn, to do this maybe once a month because this person, you're exercising this person. This person really wants to come out and play. So I think it's great that you are aware of it because you have more access to your self-mastery of knowing how you operate, knowing what you might need in any given moment. So I think that's a wonderful thing. So I just want to really acknowledge that.
Oh yeah, thanks. Now I can't really use the phrase "let my hair down" anymore. That's over with for me. But I do agree that sometimes when people don't have that opportunity to do that, they do go overboard. And I kind of felt that way, not just from me being in a relationship, but just from me not having the freedom or the money to really tap into my artistry. There are a lot of things I want to do now. Like, I'm really upset that I never took dance more serious, but I've always had that natural ability. So I really want to start doing that now. You know what I mean? But dance classes are expensive. I want to try out pole dancing. Pole dance is not cheap. If you want to, most of the times the studios have like memberships and everything, and then just time in general. So you need money, you need the time. Being a mom, my son's getting older, so I am able to, you know, maybe do more things. And then I've got a raise, so I'm able to put money towards things that I want to do. So yeah, I do think it's important to tap into that, but not everybody's an artist. So some people are not going to have that issue where if they're not able to create, that they get where they go overboard. You know what I mean? Some people just okay with just having a simple life, and that's okay too. Me, I always consider myself to be unorthodox. Like the way I view things in life, the way I view certain things that other people view, it's always been like, dang, I might be a little different because I don't agree with that. I don't want to do it that way. And so a lot of times, maybe that's why it took me a while to start coming up on the panels, because I got crucified almost for saying I don't want to get married, or that I'm not trying to bring a whole nother man into my son's life. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so I just feel like the way I do things is different. And I feel like the conversation that people have on these panels, it always goes into a circle, because the whole topic is marriage. You need to get married. You need to have all these kids. You need to make a lot of money. You need to blah, 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 blah. And I'm just looking at it like, okay, I don't want to do that. But people are like, well, you should, because you have a son. You know what I'm saying? It's always something. But I like being unorthodox. I like being different. I like that I go a different way than everybody else goes. You know, it makes things more interesting. And I think my son's okay. He has a great relationship with his dad. You know,
Awesome.
You know, you're not selfish. You know, that's the difference. You're not, you know, your son gets to live his beautiful life, and you're not imposing anything extreme into what he requires. You know, sometimes women are selfish, right? It's like, I need my time. I'm going out with my girls. I'm drinking in the house. I'm having wine and doing homework with the kids. It's like, how could you do homework? How could you be doing homework with your kids when you're drinking Sauvignon Blanc?
I just drink it after they done. They homework easy. I just drink it after they done. They homework easy.
Yeah, like Jesus Christ, like, and because I see a lot of my girlfriends, I see a lot of women that are like into mommy lunch dates. You see, with me, because I've never been married. I have no kids, so I've always just lived at the rhythm of my life. So I want to drink, I drink. I'm not missing out on anything. A lot of my girlfriends feel like they're missing out on something, and I'm like, dude, you're not missing out on anything. Love your husband, love your kids, love your life, love it. You're provided for, you're protected. You have everything that any woman should ever want, especially for their child. But it's about me. But I'm tired. I'm this. It's like, yo, like, you got some balls to be complaining.
Oh yeah, I feel that. Because even though I don't necessarily want that lifestyle, I always advocate, like, don't bring your ass out here. Just stay where you at. If that's, you know, the life that you chose, and you have kids and all that type of stuff, I wouldn't recommend anybody just be like, forget it. I don't want to do this anymore because I see y'all having all this fun. Because for some people, it's not really all fun. They make it look like it's fun.
Right.
But it's not. Unless they're content with that lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? It's not fun for them. For me, I'm okay. Not everybody's going to be okay with how I'm operating.
Right.
But yeah, if you have kids and you married, I definitely would not recommend you just peace out if it's no like anything egregious going on, like cheating or they beating on you or something. If it's, you know, if your life is decent, what you trying to come out here for?
Right.
I tell them, go on Lipstick Alley and scroll through Lipstick Alley for one day. You ain't gonna want to leave your husband. I know that.
Lipstick Alley?
Lipstick Alley is a blog about celebrity gossip, and they have like certain pages about relationships. And if they look at some of the threads in the romance alley, they wouldn't want to leave their husband.
I literally thought that was a nickname for where prostitutes walk. That's what I thought.
For what?
I thought it was like a slang for where prostitutes be walking at.
Oh no,
Lipstick Alley, because they put the lip.
wow.
That's funny.
I'm ghetto.
Yeah.
But,
So
what's-
don't
sounds
not
like-
like confirm the ghetto part. So with so much authority.
But I think the connotation of Lipstick Alley implies that it's a naughty zone. And Lipstick Alley blog,
there's a lot going on.
there's a lot going on there. Yeah.
You can see a lot of stuff you probably don't want to see.
Yeah.
But when you get, like I said, when you get into the nitty gritty of it, not the stuff you see on Instagram, you will see that a lot of people are having issues when it comes to relationship. It just is what it is. So everybody needs to pick their lane and stay in it. I think what's going on now is people are swerving.
Right.
And it's causing a lot of friction. Also, people don't know who they are. And so they come on YouTube and they're using other people's talking points to run their lives. That's bad.
Amen.
That's really bad. Because you don't know, the results you can get could be ones that you don't want.
Right.
Especially with this whole red pill stuff and everything. Most people can't live their lifestyle.
So Thanos asks, what is your experience with masters that are cancers? I think
deal with cancer.
Oh.
You don't deal with Cancer men, you said?
No.
Well, my dad is a Cancer, and I'm a Scorpio. So a Cancer is hard on the outside, soft on the inside, and they have claws, so they can hurt you. They will bring you close, like the claws, and then you're in their sphere. And if you do anything wrong, they kind of clip you with the claws until you do it right. That's how I feel like my dad is. He's not just gonna grip and vice you, but you're gonna feel like the little pinches whenever you're not doing things the way you're supposed to. And then because he's mushy on the inside, he's very sensitive to my sister, my mom, and I. Like, even to this day, he'll send us little romantic songs or write us poetry. Just to be, that's just how he raised us. But he has a side that I don't like, the snip. When he uses the claws, it's not cool when my dad is upset. And I definitely am the rebellious bratty child. So I had a lot of, they call them, like, I don't know how you say it in English, but it's just like your parent just knocks you in the head lightly, and it's called a cocotazo in Spanish. Like, you better behave before I give you a cocotazo, and you don't want your parent to do that. So I would,
flip.
like a little flip knuckle. They do it like that, and it's not hard.
Oh, a knuckle sandwich.
A knuckle sandwich. Yeah. So So for the girls, like, they might just hit you in the back and you're like, oh my God, the boys get really disciplined, a little bit different. Un pellizco. Yeah, look, Jenny Morena put un pellizco, or your dad will pinch you, like a little pinch. And you'll be like, oh shit, like, because you don't want your dad to spank you. I could not deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, Cancers are, to me, because my dad obviously raised me, he is that way. He's very strict. He's not a tyrant. He's very smart about how he does things. Like I said, he brings you in with the claws, and then he has the claws around you, just keeping you in check until you do something wrong, and he's gonna vice grip you with that claw, and he could possibly kill you, right? So, so that's my experience with Cancers or masters. Even though my dad is not into BDSM, but he definitely would be a master based on the fundamentals. He just runs his households. He has 3 of them, so he runs his 3 households. Yeah, un pellizco, a little pinch. Ooh, those things hurt. Those things hurt. I saw her put the word, and I remember the sensation, because I would get those. I would get those for sure. The tapatia, I don't know what that is. Tapatia zone. I don't know.
So Chances are, don't make that word up. You know what I'm saying? That's the way he just makes up words. Because he don't know what to do because he's not allowed to talk to Jay Ali. I already told him that I'm gonna block him.
Oh, Jay Ali is not accessible. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, he's not allowed to talk to her. I like the light in the back. That's dope.
The Jay Ali's light, yeah, I like it too. It warms you up really nice.
What's up, Lady Navoa?
Hi, Lady Navoa. How are you? We're here with the beautiful Jay Ali this evening, blessing us with her whole style.
I have a question. Let's say you ladies have how do you want to call it? I'm interested in hearing this answer. Let's say you ladies, just for the sake of conversation, find a master, right? You have a new master. How would you design your collar? Like spend no expense. Well, I guess I gotta ask you: do y'all get to decide how it look, or does the master?
Sometimes I get to, because I like to match them to my outfits. Like, yeah, like I like to have subliminal collars that just match my outfit. So I like to go collar shopping because I like it to match, and I have gotten to design my own collars. I like it blinged out, I like it with a little bling. I have a beautiful pink leather collar. I have a whole beautiful pink leather set that's customized, and it has a black heart in the middle. It's a pink leather collar with a black heart, and then around it has these little rhinestones, and it's just like a leather pink, you in the back with a belt buckle, and then it has the heart, which is patent leather, and then it just has these beautiful rhinestones around it. So and that to me is the one I walk around the house in. And then I have ones that match my outfit, or even if he takes me out in it, that's the one I would want to wear. But if we're going to like a dinner party or out to a restaurant, and I feel like I want to wear a choker or a collar, I'll have an outfit or a look in mind, and then I'll go find one that matches, or I'll design it so that for that event I have the whole look. And yeah, you can design anything you want when it comes to your leather and your equipment. There's companies out there that make it for you, that cater to people in this lifestyle. There's people who have be nicer to me, let me not be excluded. Members only. Why is she excluded? Is it members? It's not members only, is it?
What I do?
What did
I do? She be blaming me for stuff I don't even be doing.
But yes, you get to design your whole, like my first master, we designed the dungeon together. He wanted to have a beautiful dungeon in the basement of the house, and we designed it. And we had this board where he would put me on the board, and I would get like strapped in, and he could spin it.
You said
like a wheel, and he wouldn't spin it like a lot, but I would be like restrained, and then he would play with me, and I couldn't stop anything from happening
while it was spinning.
Because then he could put me upside down to go down on him. He could spin me into positions to have access to it versus like just being on the bed. Now he could like spin me and have my body available differently. Like he could spin me upside down and have my whole vagina in his face, and my legs are restricted. But that's different than being on a bed tied up. And I'm here like going through the blood flow of being spun around, being touched, different sensations coming into play, like feather, leather, floggers, toys, So yeah, so you could design a whole room to cater to your lifestyle, or you could design your equipment and then you keep it in a trunk or something so people can't see it. But you design what you want. You could design what you want.
It's
I have a collection of whips that I think maybe next week I'll bring my collection of whips so you guys can see it. Let me see if I can get to my storage. If I get to my storage, I'll bring it in. and I have like 10. I think I have about 10 whips in this storage, so I might be able to. I like crops, what you hit horses with. So I have a crop collection, and I have whip collection because I like to collect.
I'll make sure y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, make sure you comment and share. Um, this is I'm still stuck on the dungeon. That's what my brain is. It's the
gorgeous. The dungeon is the best thing ever. When you have a whole space to play, we would go hang out there sometimes, just watch TV. It was very closed. It was we had it through a thumbprint. I didn't have access to it. He had to provide me access, but it would be through a thumbprint, and we would use it sometimes just to hang out. And I would be in a totally submissive state there. But he had a TV so he could watch his games, and we would hang out there like in a completely submissive state, but like just chill mode. Versus like when we're upstairs in the regular living room, it would feel different.
So yeah, I'm just gonna let that process my brain. So Jay, how would you have your collar?
Well, I'm glad Lexie went first because I was gonna say I would just want all Jack Skeleton faces going around that thing. So I guess mine would be, tacky against all like the diamonds and stuff. But I like mine to be more like, I guess, personalized to the characters I like. And I really love Jack Skeleton. Like Jack Skeleton is one of my favorite characters.
Gorgeous. That sounds cool.
Jack Skeleton is from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, yeah.
So I would find some way to add something like that in there, because it's black and white. Black and white is pretty much my favorite, just combination in general. It goes with everything. I guess I could add some diamonds in there, in a way. But yeah, I would definitely like for it to have something on there.
You can put diamonds in the eyes of the skeleton.
Right.
Skeleton.
Yeah, it would definitely have to be some type of either Jack Skeleton or just Tim Burton in general. I really like the way Tim Burton.
Yeah, that's a awesome inspiration.
So it had to be something like that. Honestly,
you see, that's a beautiful inspiration. And your whole, let's say, if you were a submissive, and you told your master that that's who you like, that theme, that Tim Burton, he could give you permission to create your whole dungeon or your whole equipment on that. Because most of the time when it comes to those type of things, the master will see it like this is your home. Even though he runs the home, he'll let you decorate however you want. The dungeon is where you're gonna be spending time. So he wants you to make that room in a way that makes you even more submissive to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he doesn't want to make the room completely all about him when it's the space that he needs to enter into your psychology, that when we walk that threshold and we're in the dungeon, it looks exactly like the space you want in your fantasy to be a completely submissive. So
yes, make it look like Halloween Town from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah. He might have like certain things that he wants, but he will let the theme of it be exactly what you need. Like some doms or some submissives like a boudoir. They want like a real fancy bed. They want it to look medieval. So he'll be like, okay, go for it. And in that space, when she walks in there, she feels like she's in the Game of Thrones, and that makes her feel a lot more submissive than when she's in the living room serving you still, but it's still vanilla. It's your vanilla space. So yeah, like, and especially you being so creative with your looks, you would have a lot of fun, even if you didn't immerse yourself completely into this lifestyle. Just the aspect that you are open to the look, that might draw you to go to a party. You know what I mean? Like, not a full-blown BDSM party, but if you get embedded to something like that, like an Eyes Wide Shut or something fun that is edgy, you'll be like, I'm not into the lifestyle, but I like the dressing up. I like the outfits. I like the costumes. And then that comes with certain behavior. These people are going to be different. you're not going to walk that walk, but you'll take it to the edge, you know.
Mhm.
You'll watch from a distance, from the cliff. So yeah, I can totally see how you would have fun in the costume part, because I love that part too. Like when I get to go to a party and I get to dress up, like just designing the whole thing. And then when I see myself, I'm like, yo, this is serious, yo. Like I need to have like 10 minutes with myself before I can take it to the street. Cause I'm like,
Okay.
I
Be like the Grinch in that movie. He was like, "Ooh, ooh, yes."
feel like I need 10 minutes with myself because I'm about to really come out with this heat, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's you feel the energy. You feel that energy because you enjoy that play. Um yeah, so I think it's fun, that part of the when you have the liberties to design your dungeon or decorate your home. You know, I know BDSM people that even though they're not into like they're not gonna have their whole home leathered out, but their design, like they'll do black and white. Their design, like you could tell that they're a little bit on the dark side because they just have cool pieces of furniture that you're like, okay, you guys are
Mhm.
living on the edge, you know, and that's how
Yeah.
they exercise that aspect of their life. It's not totally overt or vulgar, but you could tell that they're not gonna have a Martha Stewart style house.
Oh no, but you know what? I guess. I mean, for me, it's really hard to have that one room like that and then not try to connect it with the rest of the house. Because having like one Tim Burton area, it's gonna be so out there that it'll make the rest of the house look plain, depending on how you decorate it. So I've actually been toying with the idea, like, dang, should I do that? But I'm gonna keep it uh, away for now. I want my house to be pretty much uniform, you know. Or maybe I could do like a she shed or something, like a Tim Burton she shed.
Well, you know, you can probably find silverware, plates,
Mm,
like little accessories that are like like mugs, maybe
yeah.
like that are you can get your vases to be that. You could have those touches because that kind of style has a lot of I've seen a lot of people who have that kind of style and they'll keep certain things kind of like traditional.
Mhm.
But their plates and their silverware or their wine glasses is where they express that little side of themselves. They're like, oh wow, look at this! Like you have skull wine glasses. Whoa!
Mhm. Or maybe just like for Halloween, I know a lot of people will decorate like that for the month of October, and they put their house back to normal. Um, I know for me, like I went to Party City the other day, and they had like a bunch of Jack Skellington stuff, and I really had to just refrain from buying it because they had like this huge doorknob, and I was just like,
Oh wow,
I'm
how
gonna just
cool!
have to leave it here because I don't have anywhere to put it right now. And I like to collect stuff like you were saying about like the costumes and stuff. For me, I do collect a lot of Jack Skellington stuff. And so I am trying to find a way to do it. And it may just be just like my Halloween thing. Like for the month of October, I just might change the living room to just all like Tim Burton stuff and Jack Skellington.
But you see, you have a really beautiful dark side, Ellie.
Oh yeah, I love that kind of stuff. I just have been having a hard time translating it to clothing. Um, because I like to wear dresses, so it doesn't really translate. I like to wear dresses and heels, so that doesn't translate to that very well. But the fall could be a good time for that because I love fall season because you get to add the layers. I really think fashion when you get to add layers, it makes it better. In the summertime, I'm not worried about being fashionable or too hot.
Right.
I like to have on the least amount of clothes as possible because I hate being hot and I hate sweating. So
Yeah, I don't like being hot either. I completely feel you on that. But I
most
just
of the time, I don't even come outside in the summertime, but when I do, be naked.
yeah. Well, you are you definitely have an edge to you, and I think it's fascinating, along with your comedic timing and your great one-liners that you've shared with us in the chat. some of our episodes. Like you have
Dude.
awesome
Oh man.
personality.
What she said?
I said no, you have an awesome personality. So I
I was
love
talking
that.
to Miguel when he said something.
What did you say, Miguel?
What you said to your brother?
Why you switch shoulders when you said that? Why you slide to the side?
This
Okay.
is my good side right here. What you said on your brother?
All the do's and twos
Oh,
and
YouTube
prove.
is toxic. Yeah, YouTube is toxic. Man.
It definitely has some toxicity.
Y'all gotta listen, channel. She trolled me for like 2 days straight on my accent.
It was not. It other people too. Jenny then did it. Savannah then did it. He only see it when I do it. I don't know why.
Cause I expect better.
I'm sorry. It's funny though. Cause there's this lady I used to watch on YouTube that used to do a lot of wig hauls. She has a Baltimore accent too. And I was like, what in the world? I'm just watch this on mute. Watch you put this wig on mute. But no, I like it.
No. You said what? What'd you say? Huh? What you said when you was talking? When you had said when you was talking? What'd you say?
Y'all like your accent?
Oh, thank you. I was about to come for y'all.
It sounds better when it's at a certain tone, though.
Right.
Like if I was to hear somebody yelling at somebody and they was talking in that accent, I probably would leave.
Oh no, yeah, you wouldn't want to be a part of that. It's pretty bad.
It's the Baltimore accent sounds better when it's at a lower tone. It's calm. It's like, okay, I can deal with this. Well, I can't imagine somebody yelling at somebody like, "What'd you do?" Like, no. I would have to leave.
Sis, it seems like that. It seems like you're taking shots. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm just saying. I just don't think it would sound very. But some people feel like people from Chicago have an accent.
Yeah, I do.
I hear it sometimes when I hear other people talking like, "Dang, we do have an accent."
Don't you know? Like, you ever seen Utz potato chips?
Ooh, those are so good.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
The Utz, those are like the best.
Yeah. It's like Chicago, y'all have like the diet Utz potato chip version of, like, y'all accent is kind of like from the South.
Oh, UTZ?
Yeah, Utz.
UTZ, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like y'all got the diet version of it from like the South. Like y'all accent come from the South.
You talking about Jay's potato chip?
No. Any potato chips. Like if you ever seen the Utz potato chips, it's like y'all accent is like the diet version of them because like y'all from the South, but y'all not. What happened?
Is it really?
Yeah, because it's like y'all don't say stuff right, and then don't nobody say nothing to y'all about it. But who are we to talk? You know what I mean? But I'm gonna say something because light skin.
No comment.
The other shoulder. She's giving you the other shoulder. She did like a.
No comment.
See, I can clap back too. But you know this. You already know this.
I don't feel like people have better food than we do. So I'm gonna just say no comment.
Chicago?
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
Maryland.
No, because I've heard people say they have went to other states, whether they're going on vacation, to visit, and they always say the food is nasty. So that's why I'm reluctant to even go anywhere, because bad food would actually ruin my whole trip. I don't care where we go. The food not good, I'm gonna be upset.
I'm about to right now. So it's the New Orleans exists, right? Hold on, New Orleans.
Okay, I will say New Orleans probably has really good food.
Memphis.
But that's it. That's
Maryland.
No.
New York. New York got everything. They got the most. They got the second or third most Michelin chefs.
New York, I'm gonna get it.
All right.
Okay. So if he wants to say 3, right? Because I already live in Chicago, so I would definitely go to New Orleans.
I just got that one pizza. That's it.
And I would go to New York for some food too. No, we don't. We have other stuff too.
They have really great Greek food in Chicago.
I mean, you can literally get anything here.
Yeah, it's called the second city. It's called the second city for something. New York City is the capital of the world. New York City is the capital of the world. New York City is the capital of the world. And then here in the U.S., Chicago is the second city to New York City. It's called Second City for a reason because they have it all there too. They have everything that New York has.
When it comes to food?
Well, even the culture,
Yeah.
even the arts, even the museums, even the culture, it's very diverse. Fashion, it's very fashion forward, like New York.
Yeah, it's diverse, pretty much.
Yeah, it is in the Midwest. So people who wanted to leave New York, you know, Irish people, Greek people, Italians who left New York and New Jersey went to Chicago. So Chicago has its own mafia, right? It has its own underground stories.
Mm-hmm.
And along with that, it's in the Midwest where there was a lot of bootlegging going on in those Midwest
Yeah.
countries.
Yeah.
Right? And Chicago was where a lot of those transactions happened. And it didn't go beyond west of that because LA doesn't compare to Chicago. No way.
Not on the food. It is pretty diverse, but not on the food.
Not in the influence it has over the country. A lot of illegal activities happen in Chicago and in New York and in Jersey. You know? So Chicago is it's called the second city because it has all of that. It has all of that. Yeah. I love Chicago. I've been to Chicago a few times.
Yeah, I only like Chicago because of Mr. Palmer and JLE. Other than that, there's some job turkeys.
Oh, not because of beans? Dang,
No.
I'm sorry.
No, not because of him. No, it's just Mr. Palmer and you. And that's it. Because I don't like the Bulls. I don't like the Bears.
The Bears.
I don't really like win that much. So there's that.
And I love house music. House music came from Chicago.
I think that. Yeah,
I love house music. So
actually, our club music here is based off of house music, and some people say Chicago. They say like a few other places, but yeah, shout out to Chicago though. We just taking jokes, you know, taking shots at you because y'all keep coming for our accent, and it's not a good idea because y'all know me because I'm trained, you know. My other natives here, they're not as civil. They're pretty violent, and I don't want you guys to get happy to doing that. And they chitty bang bang, and you're out here.
Nobody worry about that.
We say Jersey and Baltimore made about it. Yeah, house music definitely. Yeah, I think we're gonna wrap this up. Definitely, pretty much. Appreciate you ladies coming tonight.
Thank you.
I don't know about dropping one if you want to stay on the panel. I mean, if you want us to drop the link, I can stay up. Yeah, but if you
I didn't know you didn't drop the link, but yeah, if people want to come up and participate, and especially if they're looking as fine as J. Ali, girl, you look so gorgeous. I wish I had a camera and I would just take pictures of you all day long. Your face is so perfectly symmetrical. Like photographers must go crazy with you because, like,
I'm telling you,
there's no bad angle.
That's why I put my own hands because a lot of photographers. I had like one really bad experience, and it can get rough out here with these photographers. So I take my own pictures now. I edit my own pictures. I do my own concepts. So my project is a solo project. So I will be putting all the concepts together, renting out a studio, getting the camera, the lights, everything, doing it myself. So we'll see how it turns out.
It's gonna be amazing. It's very important when you're an artist that you own your image and you don't sell the likeness of your image. So yes, the more that you own your image and you create and you create your team and you own your work, like keep on that path because you're gonna meet the right photographer, you're gonna meet the right makeup artist, and they're gonna be on your team probably forever and ever and ever. Because you don't need to have a lot of them. You just need to find the right one. And then you are able to possibly employ them because you'll get modeling gigs, you know, like so yeah. So that's good that you're taking ownership of your brand and your artistry and that unfortunately went through a bad experience, but you know the realities of it because some people think it's all fun and games when you're out in this entertainment artistic.
Especially when you're in the studio with somebody for 8 hours. And then you know how I talk to you guys and, you know, the personality thing, and then people just start getting really weird. They be like,
Yeah.
I've been you my whole life. No, you haven't. So and then it just gets it's kind of crazy. So
is anyone coming up, Noble?
I'm surprised Zone ain't as much as
so he practicing BDSM on his neighbor.
Yeah, he's like, my neighbor. He's so silly.
as much as
Oh
as
my
much as
God, these people crack me up.
what? Jenny, block Zone, like block him. Zone is out of control.
He's hilarious.
Thanos came up. You come up, Lady Navoy. You was talking all that mess in the chat. I know y'all got questions. Because I haven't had too much experience with I'm gonna say I haven't had enough experience with ladies wearing collars. But now I look back on it, kind of watch a lot of chicks wear chokers. That
But
could have
let
been
me
like
ask
an
you this,
indication.
when you go out and you see a woman wearing something like a collar or a choker, does it trigger like something like sexy or like a little fetish thing? Because when I see it, like I have a different, like, it's when I see piercings or I see a collar, like those are signals to me that this person might be a sub. So it does trigger something kind of. It just makes it intriguing. Do you kind of get that energy when you see a woman wearing a piece of jewelry like that?
See, when I was young, I was a square, and then I turned like 20, and I got 19. I was turned out, to the other side. So I got taught to, grab women by the neck, and then
Oh yeah.
so now I like it
Yeah.
now. So when I see that choker, that's what I be thinking about because it's the word
Yeah.
choke. So I like it now. Like before, I didn't understand it because my first introduction is like seeing chicks with it was in, I think, middle school, with like goth chicks. They would have the little plastic choker looking
Yeah.
thing, and it would leave like a little whelp. And most of the ones I seen wear was like white girls. So it wasn't something that I would see anybody else doing. So, but now I'm like, she might be on her.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna definitely look now because now I look back. Now when you was talking about it, I was thinking about movies. So I was thinking about those different movies where, and I was thinking about other things where it's like you probably have like some boss, some like drug boss, and it's just women running around, but they got collars and stuff on, so they could be in that whole lifestyle you don't even know. So it's like secret society type of stuff.
Yeah. Like if you
Brain turning now.
when you go out into the world now, take a notice when you see somebody wearing a collar or choker, and then watch their mannerisms. Like when I go to the airport and I see a woman wearing a collar and I see her man, I'm looking for mannerisms because I could tell if they're in the lifestyle pretty quickly, just on the mannerisms of how they move. We know even in public, you still keep that hierarchy going. It just is displayed. It's a lot more discreet. But if you're in the lifestyle, you could pick up, especially if she's wearing a collar. It's a constant reminder of her position. And yes, it is because it's just like an animal, right? Like a collar on an animal, you can control it. And some collars, some people do put spikes on the inside. Yeah, some people put the spikes on the inside and they'll pull on it because that's part of their play is kind of like that pain. So yeah, it definitely, to me, it always gives me like an automatically like, are they in the lifestyle when I see a woman wearing a collar?
You get excited.
Like a choker. I'm like, ooh, I wonder if she's announcing herself. Sometimes it's an announcement, like.
That's how I take it. I take it just like that. I take it as like a signal. It's like, yeah, I'm about that life. But you gotta make sure she ain't, belong to somebody at that point. But
right. And that she's in the right mental state, because that's another thing. Like mental health is extremely important in BDSM. You can't have people that are like not aware of their demons. You have to know if my demons can play with your demons. It's also important to be aware of those things, because some people want to be in the lifestyle, kind of like the people that you were describing, Jay Ali, that they want to have that kind of polyamorous or polygamy, but the mentals is not there. The same thing happens in BDSM, especially when you're being courted. As if I'm being courted, I'm checking to make sure that my master has that I like the way he makes decisions, that his mental game is on point, and he wants to make sure I am too. That I'm not a psycho who's just trying to be kinky, and then he has to deal with all that baggage. Because that person needs, they need to spend more time with themselves. They need a different type of training.
Thanks, Lady Noel.
Thanks, Lady Noel. Good night.
Good night. Buenas noches. Oh, she's gonna watch a horror movie. Ooh, it's already that time.
Yeah. That was powerful what you said early, Lexie, about those monogamous couples trying to then expand into polygamy when the foundation is wrong from the beginning. I think again, It goes back to the same shit. It's like you trying to change the dynamic of your relationship in any way, shape, or form. Like business could expand. You may have to travel. It's a lot of different reasons why your lifestyle is going to change. But if you haven't established that dominant submissive relationship, really with the parents of both people, like the mom, like how was that situation? If a man watched his mom dominate men, how could he really be assertive, in a situation? How does he really know how to take care of himself in a situation? So trying to convert from monogamy to polygamy is just as bad as trying to convert from being submissive to a dominant just because you want to, just because it's available, just because it's an urge or a kink. It's like, okay, cool, it'll feel great, but then do you know how to handle all those responsibilities? So I thought it was dope that you talked about, that you brought up.
Yeah, I think these days, the display of it just cheapens the experience. Where people just think that it's like it's just we go have coffee, and then we agree we're gonna be in this relationship, and it's just all supposed to work.
Right. Ain't no work. There's no construction. It's just like, let's go build that 92-story building. Yeah, we can do it. You go get some wood from Home Depot and then see how it works.
Yeah, because the man, most of the time, it's a fantasy the man has, and he thinks he has the capability of what the dynamic requires. You see, you could say to yourself, let's say you're in a monogamous relationship and you want to change the dynamic, but before you tell your wife, as a man, you should start doing the work, the self-work, the self-mastery, so that when you present it, you present it with the whole sense of responsibility, not the fantasy of it. Where you're just like, oh, babe, let's do this. And really, you only want to do that because you want the variety. You want the variety, and then you want to force it to work. Because you're doing it from a selfish position. You're not doing it for the greater good of your household. So that is very difficult to try to introduce without the man understanding what's required of him. Because like even the club that I belong to, the reason that they have 2 men refer you need 2 recommendations, is because they want to make sure that you really are a master, that you really are, that your whole lifestyle and the way you move and operate indicates that this is your natural, true behavior. You don't want to have a wannabe in there that changes and brings problems, and doesn't know how to respect other people's submissives. If you're a master and there's another master there, and you think that his sub is beautiful, you don't say something. You might tell him in a conversation, wow, your submissive is gorgeous, but that's not something that you want to loosely, talk about. That's disrespectful. Just like if you in a vanilla relationship and somebody disrespects your wife and says, damn, look at your wife, man, she looks amazing in that dress. And you're like, dude, like, damn, you're checking out my wife that hard. Like, I could tell you're undressing her.
Right. It's
You
another
know,
man's property. Yeah, it's another man's property. It's just
another
how you
man's-
gotta look at it. Yeah, I've been like that for a minute. Like I ain't not about to have no conversation with another man about my shit. I've been saying that for
Yeah.
over 2 decades. Nigga, all right, now we fighting. Like, why you worried about what I got in the house? You want to get shot? So I'm with that. So I also love how you mentioned that the because like I said, I didn't want to stop you when you was in the middle of your flow, really explaining what the ceremonies was about, where you look at the contract building and the ceremony is like being engaged or being married or being in a marriage. So is it like could you say it's a substitute, or do some of these relationships still end in traditional marriages?
Yeah, some of them end up in traditional marriages. You do that for your vanilla friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
And you do that, you go through the process of just having like a typical wedding, and it's only for appearances.
Right.
You already have that relationship. Your marriage or relationship has already been established. It's been established way longer than your marriage date. By the time you have a wedding, you've already been living with this master maybe for a year, 2 years. You're doing this for your family and friends because they're like, you guys have been together for 2 years. When are you gonna get married?
Right.
They don't all understand that the way you run your home is different than the traditional vanilla world.
Right.
You already have a deeper relationship than any religious church ceremony could ever give you. But yes, people do that, and they'll be like kind of fun, like let's say like Jay Ali, like because she loves a Tim Burton element. Her wedding, her vanilla wedding, might have
Mhm.
like Tim Burton, like a Tim Burton cake. You'll still see those flashes of the fact that we like live life on the edge. You know what I mean? Like just little things that you try to bring in because you don't want to be like, we're totally vanilla. You're like, no, I like colored sprinkles. So people are, you might have a skulls as a decoration, or like little things that are identify that you're BDSM.
Right.
But the crowd is just like, oh my God, I love your decorations. And you're like, if you only knew why I have Tim Burton all over the place.
All right. I'm sorry, I got lost in a train of thought of just all that goodness I just heard. Washed.
They would be fools to resist my divine power.
His death was a necessary loss. Soon I will have a new apprentice, one far younger and more powerful.
Remember, when a king is loved as I am, much can be accomplished.
We didn't do this because we like you. We did this because we are you.
Boom, the world class.